Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. This is the last video that I'm going to film before Christmas, and I thought that it would be fun to do a Christmas tag. This is the 2022 Merry Christmas tag. It was created by Steph from Steph's Beauty Stash and Deb from Vinyl Beauty. I'm going to link their videos down below, along with a list of all the questions or prompts in case you want to do this yourself. So I thought that this would be a little bit of a full face because I'm not sure how long the questions will take me, and then if I find that halfway through the process I'm done the questions, I'll just finish off the video and we'll close out from there. If you're new here, hey, my name's Rachel and I'm a homeschooling stay-at-home mom. I really love to play with colorful eyeshadow and I upload multiple videos every week. It's all eyeshadow related content. I've got lots of good stuff in December still, and I have already been filming things for January and February. I hope that you'll consider subscribing before you go so you don't miss anything new. Now let's get going. Let me quickly tell you what my plan is for today's look, and then everything that I use will be linked down below in the description box as well. I'm actually going to start by doing my eyebrows. I never used to do my eyebrows at all, but I've been doing them more lately just because I like how they give a little bit more structure above the eyeshadow. So I'm trying this new product. It's the NYX Professional Lift and Snatch Brow Tint Pen. The color I have is Espresso. Again, everything is linked below. And I've seen Angelica Nyquist use this pen. She cracked me up in a recent video. She said she has built a brow where she has to create her eyebrow because she has so few hairs. I don't have that problem, but I do like to fill in a few here and there. So anyway, I'm using that, and I'm using Express Brow from Maybelline. I don't really know what I'm doing. I kind of figure it out as I go, but let's get started with these questions. And in case you're wondering, no, I don't do anything else on my face before I start. The only primer I ever use is eye primer. Okay, question number 1. Share a memorable gift opening moment from your childhood. There were several gift opening moments that I can recall or that I could relate to you, but the one that really popped into my brain first when I saw this prompt was the time, I think I was about maybe 6 or 7. I'm sorry if the mirror's in the way. I have to bring it a little closer for brows because I don't have contacts. Anyway, I think I was about 6 or 7, and my parents got me a pillow, like a bed pillow. You know, I knew that it was a pillow because it was wrapped in wrapping paper, and you can't really conceal an ordinary bed pillow, right? It's obviously a pillow. And my sister, she had peeked through this little tear in the paper, and she thought for sure that it was her gift because of the color that she saw on the inside. It was like a soft pinky purple kind of satin color, and she thought it was hers. When Christmas morning came and it was time to open presents, and it turned out to be my gift, my sister was quite upset. When I saw the color of the pillow, I was delighted, and I remember being small enough at the time that I could completely curl my body up to be contained entirely onto the pillow, and that's what I did. I remember unwrapping it and being completely stoked and laying on the pillow and hugging it and just like loving on it and my whole body fitting on the pillow. But it was an ordinary bed pillow, so I guess that's how I gauge my age, because my sister couldn't read and I was small enough to fit on the pillow. Now I'm going to prime my eyes using the Glamlight Icing Primer. Question number 2 says, you are walking down the street feeling good. What holiday song is playing in the background? For this question, I had to think. Honestly, the first song that popped into my head was Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas Is You. And the reason I wanted to think more was because I don't really care for that song. It's not that I dislike the song. It's just that it's kind of overplayed. And that's probably why it's the first one that came to mind, because no matter where you go, you hear that song playing. You hear it on the radio, in the shopping centers. Even though it's not a song I particularly dislike or particularly like, I feel sort of ambivalent about it. It is a song that kind of is the soundtrack for that sort of memory, you know, walking down a busy street with other shoppers, and I don't know, that's just the one that came to mind first. Now I want to tell you my plan for the eyeshadow look so that I can keep talking about the prompts. I want to use these 2 palettes. This is Alice in Wonderland from Sigma, and here's Hummingbird from Untitled. This is their collaboration with Tina from the Fancy Face. I want to start the look with this dark purple right here, and hopefully not need to blend it out. I'm hoping that I can buff this into a decent blend, but if I do need to blend it out, I will either take that light blue matte, or in the Alice palette I might take this shade right here, and then I want to put black in the outer corner and this silver all over the lid, and then take that light blue shade from Uden's Eye and put it on my lower lash line into purple or into black or into both. That's the plan. Prompt number 3 says, what kind of holiday shopper are you? Black Friday, Christmas Eve, year-round? I'm taking a dense blending brush and going into Star Apple within Hummingbird. Overall, I would say I'm a year-round shopper. I literally start thinking about people's Christmas gifts, actively thinking about them around July. Because gift giving is my love language, so it's really easy for me to have a conversation with someone and hear them mention an interest or a hobby or a book they want to read or something they want to try, and I put it in the back of my brain as, ooh, potential Christmas gift. And I do that all year long, but particularly I start doing it in the middle of the year. But then I actually start, unless it's little things throughout the year and also depending on the budget, I actually start shopping in earnest around the time that we're getting into the Black Friday deals, because I'm always on a budget and I want to make sure that I'm getting value for my dollar. So I don't mind waiting until Black Friday sales because I know that the stores are going to have a lot of options. So overall, I'm a casual year-round shopper, and sometimes there will be gifts sitting in my house for 4 or 5 months before I actually send them to the person. Look at this color. What a pretty color. I keep color switching the brush on a color switch or a napkin, and I'm just sort of buffing out these edges. And I don't know that I'm going to have to bring in another shade to blend this out because I think it's softening enough that I can live with it. I'm going to take the Alice in Wonderland palette now, and I want to grab the shade Lost, which is the dark, well, it's the black really. It's kind of a shimmery sort of formula. I'm not sure if those sparkles will stay on the lid or if they'll disappear, but I'm going to take it with the brush that's included in the palette, and I think I'll take this larger end and dip into the shade Lost and see how it lays down. I really want this to be a smoky. Maybe I should have brought that purple more onto the lid space, but anyway, I'm just smoking out the outer corner. So the next question is, let me make sure I read it carefully or accurately. If you could only have one type of Christmas candy this year, what would it be? Okay, so this is easy for me, but I'm not sure that the candy is actually considered a Christmas candy. The candy that I always get at Christmas time is Sellas, which are the chocolate-covered cherries, but they're not the Queen Anne chocolate-covered cherries. You can get Sellas all year round. Like, you can get them at the convenience store or the gas station. But at Christmas time, you can get them in boxes of 16 or something like that, in larger quantities for a good price. And my sister, every year, she sends me or gives me a box of Sellas, and it's gone like that night. Or maybe the next day if I'm really exercising self-control. I just love them, and I don't really like the Queen Anne ones because they're too sweet. The difference is that the Sellas are cherries that are in a sugary liquid, but the Queen Anne brand has them sitting in this really thick, goopy, white-colored sugar syrup. You know, they're both sugar syrups. It's just a different sugar syrup. But I really don't care for that white one. I feel like it's just too sweet. So Queen Anne boxes of chocolate-covered cherries are always available as well at this time of year, and I never buy those. I only buy the Sellas. I think I am going to start the other eye because I'm almost halfway done this side and we still have some questions to go. The next question is such an easy one to answer. Would you rather have 3 feet of snow at Christmas or no snow at all? Okay, I've mentioned in a different video, which I'm not sure is live yet, but anyway, I grew up going to Canada. We went to Quebec for Christmas almost every year, and I have amazing memories of snowy Christmases. The state where I grew up, we would definitely get 4 seasons. Wintertime was often cold, and usually we would get snow. It might not always be amazing snow, but we would get some snow. And of course, there were a couple of years that stand out in my mind as years where we had true blizzards, where we had a few feet of snow. That wasn't common though. Generally, we would get several inches at a time. And so I have great snow memories. Like when we went to Canada, we would cut down a Christmas tree and drag it through the woods. And my sister, I remember her hiding in the branches to get a ride instead of doing any pulling herself because she was a sneaky sneak. We would decorate it with ornaments and tinsel. And we had this cabin up on a lake. And it was so cold that the lake was frozen with several feet of ice. And so we would go snowmobiling on the frozen lakes. We would go skiing. We would go tobogganing. There was a hill that we could sled down. My dad would hook up the canoe that they used in the summertime. He would hook it up to the back of the snowmobile, pile all the kids inside of it with blankets and hats and scarves and everything that we needed to stay warm. And he would ride the snowmobile around, pulling the canoe behind him, and just give us this great ride. And I remember feeling the wind whipping at my face and the sting of the snow behind the snowmobile as it kicked up into our faces. But it was still so fun because when you're a kid, you don't care about that. It's just fun. And I have I just have wonderful Christmas memories involving snow, and it's because of that that I love snow. So yeah, if I could have 3 feet of snow on Christmas or none at all, I would always, always choose snow. Can I just say, look how beautifully this Uden's eyeshadow is blending out. This is a dark, dark purple color, and I'm able to blend it out to the point where I don't need a transition color. I mean, look at this. I haven't used any color to soften this purple. I just laid it down, and then I cleaned my brush and I buffed the edge, and I cleaned my brush again and I buffed the edge, and I cleaned my brush again and I buffed the edge, and look at it. It's beautiful. It's so good. Question number 6. If you had to be trapped in a Christmas movie, which would it be? This one was also easy to answer because that movie would be White Christmas, Bing Crosby and Danny Kaye. I recently, in the last 2 years or so, discovered the White Christmas movie. I'd never seen it before. I heard about it, never seen it. And my daughter and I will watch it throughout the year just because it's a sweet, heartwarming movie. My sister rolls her eyes because she's a hater. But we think it's sweet and fun. But the reason I chose that one, if I had to be trapped in a Christmas movie, is because it's just like family friendly and wholesome, but also it's a musical, and I'm a musical person. And I love the fact that people in musicals just burst into song all the time, and it always sounds good. And there might be dancing involved too. And I like the characters, I like the plot, and I like the setting. There's singing and dancing, and I can always get behind singing and dancing. The next question says, name a Christmas song that would be on your party playlist. This is fun. I am going to take a shimmer now. I'm going to grab a flat C or shader brush like this, and I want to grab the shimmer White Rabbit, which is the silvery shimmer in the Alice palette, and I'm going to spray it. So I'm taking White Rabbit and I'm laying it down on the whole lid space from the inner corner to meet the dark mattes. So a song that would be on my Christmas playlist would have to be Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree. That song is always on my Christmas playlist because it's so much fun, and I really like that era of music, you know, the oldies and the doo-wop sort of style. And that one's not fully doo-wop, but I just like that era of music as well. And it's a fun song. It's super catchy. It's fun to sort of, you can dance around to it while you're setting up Christmas decorations or, I don't know, Christmas cooking or something. It's just fun. It's a really upbeat, entertaining song. I painted that silver a little bit too high, so I'm taking the brush which I used for the Uden's eye, and I'm not taking additional product, but I'm just kind of going back in windshield wiper motions with whatever's on the brush and pulling over from here, because I don't want that silver to be up super high. I do want it to end in a matte. I'm going to go back into the Uden's eye palette with a smaller blending brush. I'm going to start in the shade Clear Blue, which is the light matte blue, and I'll put this in my inner corner, and then I'll drag it on most of the lower lash line. The next question asks, what is your least favorite item on your Christmas to-do list? I think I would have to say troubleshooting the string of Christmas lights that goes around the tree. Because a long string of Christmas lights is, I mean, it's annoying. Even if you've taken care to wrap it up neatly at the end of the previous year, when you go to unwrap it, of course, it's going to be tangled, and each little light sticks into the wire of whatever's around it and gets messed up, and it's just kind of annoying. But then you've got the problems of, let's make sure that they all work. So you have to remember to plug it in before you load up the tree and make sure that they work. And if they don't work, you have to figure out which bulb doesn't work and why. And I think this is probably an easier process than it used to be, because the light manufacturers have gotten smarter and they've made it a little easier to figure out which light is burned out and how to change it. But it's still annoying. I'm not setting up for Christmas this year, and I didn't set up for Christmas last year. Not really, because we moved from a larger home into a small townhome, and so everything just feels more cramped. We do not have a space for a Christmas tree. I also have a toddler who touches everything. I'm not even putting out gifts until like the night before. And I'll put them on the hearth, I think, and then when the kids come down, there will be gifts there. I have a nativity scene set up. I have some garland and lights on my mantle, and that's what we're doing for Christmas. Plus I'll hang some stockings that my mother-in-law made. And that is about it. So this year I don't have to deal with the Christmas lights, but I still know that that's probably one of the most annoying things for me to have to deal with when it comes to the Christmas to-do list. Oh, also, shopping for my husband. My husband's really hard to buy for. I'm going to take a smudger brush and dip into the purple shade Star Apple again and put this on the outer half, I think, of the lower lash line. I haven't decided if I'll throw in the black. I might just keep it blue and purple so that that purple really carries through and stands out a bit more. I think it's going to get drowned out if I add black to it. For a waterline color, I'm going to take this shade from ColourPop. This is the shade Big Splash. It's a light blue. And the 9th question is, what holiday movie do you watch over and over? There are 2 for this one. The first one would be Home Alone 1. My family and I have started doing that as like a Thanksgiving tradition. We'll watch Home Alone 1. And that's been a lot of fun. I really like Home Alone 1. Home Alone 2 is okay, but I like 1 better. But that, like, we didn't have a Christmas movie that we always watched growing up. And so that one just, again, I like the plot, I like the characters. I love the music in that one. You know, when Kevin is running away from the church to go set up to prepare for the burglars that he knows are coming that night at 9 or 8, whatever time it is. And you hear the church children singing Carol of the Bells as he runs through the snowy, crispy night. Yeah, that movie is just very Christmassy to me. And then the other one is the 1968 stop-action Little Drummer Boy. I'll find a picture and show you guys. This is definitely a childhood memory. This one is very special to me. I have gone to great lengths to get a DVD of this movie because it's just charming and sweet. Again, I love the music. It just has nice memories for me of this sweet storyline, and then the way that they put it to music, and then the way that it's acted out, and the amount of artistry and creativity that went into the stop action movies, and how you see the face of little Aaron, the drummer boy, and his expressions when he's angry, when he's excited, when he's sad. The expressions are so well done considering the kind of animation technology that they had at the time. I think it's kind of a holiday treasure. And my family, my personal family, like my husband and daughter, they don't really appreciate it, but I watched it anyway, with or without them. It's like a 30-minute movie. It's not a huge time investment, and it brings back a lot of nice childhood memories, and it also just, it gets the warm fuzzies going for me. Okay, I'm gonna go off camera and finish up the other eye, and then I will come back for the final question. Okay, here's the finished eye look. I did a black winged eyeliner and some mascara, and then on my face I used, let's see, the Nomad Cosmetics Kofan Non Moonlight Highlighter is such a pretty color. It's discontinued, but I know that you can get some of their highlighters on Poshmark and Mercari. Then I've got the Tulum palette from BH Cosmetics as a little bit of a bronzer, and I used the Devil's Food Cake shade from NYX Butter Gloss on my lips. That's everything as far as finishing up the look. Now let's finish up this video. The last question, question number 10, it says, finish this sentence. It wouldn't be Christmas without. And the way that I decided to finish that sentence was, it wouldn't be Christmas without reading Luke chapter 2 with my family. This was a tradition that I became introduced to with my in-laws when we would have Christmas at their house, which we don't do anymore because we moved 1,000 miles away. But that was a nice way to kind of ground everyone and get people's attention and quiet the room, especially because they are a big family, so it can be pretty chaotic, and with all the children and all the noise and the laughter and the chatting, and this all happens in a small living room, right? So it's a really good way to just get everyone to calm down and be quiet and pay attention to scripture for a while and refocus us on what we're actually celebrating and what actually matters. And then we follow that up with gifts and whatnot. But it's a very sobering and humbling experience. You go there and you read the story and everything's laid out for you and it's beautifully done. So I think it wouldn't feel quite like Christmas without reading Luke 2 with my family. This year my daughter wants to read it. I think she read it last year as well. It's nice. So that is the whole eye look. Everybody, this is my last video before Christmas. I appreciate Deb and Steph for coming up with this video idea. Remember to check the description box for their videos and the questions if you feel like doing it yourself, even if it's after Christmas. It's still just fun to talk about Christmassy things, and you can put in the comments what your answers would be to some of these questions. I'd love to hear what your favorite memories are, or your favorite gift, or it wouldn't be Christmas without what for you. I'd love to hear your answers. I'm sure you guys are getting really busy for the holiday, and I hope that you have a truly wonderful and beautiful weekend with the people that you love. Thank you for being here, and I will see you guys again on Monday for a palette collection tour. Merry Christmas, my friends. Bye!